Hey everybody, Amy with AmyFerrellArt, and I am participating in the Let's Have a Picnic event hosted by Hen House and Bloom Company. And I'm going to do a little watercolor painting today. There's one more crafter after me. It's Grace and Grit Creations by Cindy. I just wanted to thank the admins, Rooster Ridge Sunflower Company, Miss Ollie, Shop Paradise Creations, Miss Karen, and Magically Rustic Designs, Miss Renee. Thank y'all so much for including me in your events. And the moderators, Allison's Accents and Decor, and Creations by J&J, Miss Joyce. Thank y'all so much for all that you do. And I am excited about being here and doing a little painting. So I am going to paint a big ice cream cone that is in a wagon. A recent trip that my husband and I took to see his parents, we went walking downtown and saw this big, there was an ice cream shop and there was a big, I don't know, statue, I guess you call it, a big ice cream cone sitting out front of this ice cream shop. And it was in a wagon, like a full-size little red wagon. And it had cement in the bottom, and there were like kids' handprints in the cement. So I thought that would make a great painting. So that's what we're going to paint today. So I am going to get started. And if I'll try to look at comments and stuff and see if I can see everybody's comments. Let me try to get it pulled up here. Yeah, I think, there we go. Let me see if I can get this.
Go ahead, I'll get it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, can you pull that over, really, or not sure? Oh. So anyway, my husband's here helping me to get so I can see the comments, but I am going to get started. So I've got it sketched out. So we've got, this is a 12 by 16 watercolor paper. And I don't know if you can see that, but I've got it sketched out on there. So I'm just gonna start on the ice cream. We've got a cherry on top, and we've got all the fun stuff. I'm gonna do strawberry ice cream. So one of the things with watercolor is you try to preserve your whites, which I'm not always successful at, but I try. So I'm going to use some, that was just like a red, just a primary red. This is going to be indigo, and I'm going to use some burnt umber. Mix those together, kind of makes a little bit of a gray. pretty gray. And I just want to, this is the whipped cream, but we need to get some darks in there so that the lights will show up. You know, kind of like when you do snow, how you have to have the shadows in the snow, and it's not ever just white. We got a little cherry juice in our whipped topping. Hi, Barbara. Thank you for sprinkling me out. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Lil of Me Gifts and Specialties. Hi, everybody. Thank y'all for joining. So this is going to be like a chocolate sauce. So I'm from Texas, and we have Dairy Queen, which if any of you are from Texas, you know what Dairy Queen is. And they've got the best dip cones and blizzards and soft serve. They have the best ice cream. Now, this reminds me of somewhat of a dip cone. Of course, the dip cone is the ice cream is completely dipped in chocolate, and it gets like a crunchy shell. But I like it when it's still kind of warm when you first get it, and that chocolate hasn't quite set yet and it's a little bit soft. That's the best. Those first couple of bites are the best bites. So I'm just using some burnt umber for this, and we will go back in and I will darken some of these, like the shadow, like where it should be, you know, like right under the ice cream, and there should be a little bit of a shadow down there. So it's going to be a little darker, but y'all have Dairy Queen in Tennessee? Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize it was out of Texas. Yeah, we love Dairy Queen. The blizzards, and I like the blizzards, but the dip cones are my favorite, I think. And I like the chocolate. They've come out with some different flavors. Like right now they have like a cinnamon crunch, a cinnamon toast crunch, I believe, flavor, and I think there's a cherry, but can't beat the good old chocolate. So I'm just darkening up some of the areas and leaving some white areas because I want to have some highlights in there. Just using a water-only brush and softening some of those lines. I don't want to have any harsh lines. I want to have a nice soft blend. Just going to darken up some of these shadows in the whip topping. Probably add a little burnt umber. And just go back with some clean water and soften. In Michigan, y'all have Dairy Queen? Yes, it's very creamy. Freddy's Burger place has, they call theirs custard, but oh, that's some good ice cream too. It's really good. I'm going to add a little darker red to this cherry, just kind of at the bottom. Yeah, I'm just going to soften that edge there. Just kind of makes it have a look, you know, gives it a little bit of a deeper color. So I'm going to let this dry and I'm going to work on the cone. So I've got some raw sienna, just pretty watered down. Got a little red in there. Just kind of touching the edge of those little squares, and then I'm just going to get some water and blend it out. And then just use what I have left on my brush to kind of work around it. I'm just going to repeat that to these other squares. Hope everybody's been having a good day. I've been trying to catch, when I can, some of the crafters. I was trying to catch some while I was at work. I tried to catch a few also when I got home, but my son was doing some streaming, and he was playing he streams his games that he plays, and I don't know, I was just having some connection issues, so I wasn't able to watch as many, but I told him I had a live, so he's not streaming anymore. It's his day off of work today, so he went to eat with some friends. I'm just going to kind of let that set now. We'll come back and we'll do a few more details on it. So now I'm going to work on the the wagon. I'm going to get a little bit smaller of a brush. So it's just going to be some reds and just a typical little red wagon. I thought this was just so cute with all the handprints in the cement and just, you know, such a classic children's look. Yeah, yes, definitely craving ice cream now. We like to have it as a snack before bed a lot of times. I'm just going to add some darker on this side because we're going to have a shadow coming from the ice cream cone. So these are Holbein watercolors. That's the brand. I like, there's quite a few that I really like. Holbein is definitely one that I'm really liking. It's very vibrant and there's different fillers in watercolors that different companies use different types of fillers. And there's some that actually use honey as like a binder, not really a filler, but like a binder. And so when you put watercolor in, like in your tray, you know, I use tubes and I just squirt out the colors in these little compartments, and then you can just let it sit there, and then you just re-wet it to reactivate it. It will harden after it sits there, but some of the binders harden more than others, and the honey that some of the companies use, it does not harden as much as some of the other binders, and I like that. I don't. There's one brand that I I like the paint a lot, but I do not like how hard it gets. It's hard to re-wet it. To me, it is. It like will crack. It just gets really hard and kind of brittle. So Holbein does not do that. It does not get that hard. So I'm liking the Holbein a little bit better. So I'm just kind of, you know, creating some shadows and all in the wagon. And let's get the. So I love the look of, it's like you have your image, and then I always tape off the edges of my watercolor paper because that way you'll have a nice clean border, so that when you put it in a mat or you frame it, you've got a nice clean border all the way around. But I like to sketch on a frame, like within the image, where it looks like the image is kind of, it makes it look 3D. It's like it's busting out of that frame. So that's what I've done here. I've got this image, and this in here will be white, and then I will put some color around here. So it just gives it a really neat effect, I think. So I really like the look of that. So that's what we're going to do. It's like, it's kind of like the what were the uh was it bust out canvas or bust out frame, or what I know it was really popular in the crafting um for a while. It was like there was something busting out of the middle of like the craft. That's kind of what this reminds me of. But Jackie, you haven't painted in watercolor since the 80s. You know, this is the last. I started in acrylics, and then went to oil, and went back to acrylic, and then thought, well, I'm going to complete the, and I tried pastels too. Um, Pastels are beautiful. It's just not my thing. I like to have a paintbrush and liquid paint versus like just a pencil. But I mean, there's some beautiful. It's so there's some beautiful art created with it. It's just not my favorite to work with. So, but yeah, I really like the watercolors. I I'm not. I guess because you can be very detailed still with it. You just use less water. Um, but then you also have the option of being very loose and letting the water, do its thing. And then also the storage, you store a piece of paper versus a stretched canvas. So um, it's it cuts way, way, way down on the storage needed. But and it's easier to travel with, because you can get your little pans, which are uh, like just solid little chunks of paint, and then you just, you wet it with water. Um, but it's just, it's not liquid, so that's much easier to travel with. And the cleanup is really, really nice. It's just water. Um, but I've been trying to mix it up a little bit, doing a few acrylics, and haven't done many oils in a while, but I would have to say that watercolor is my favorite to work with. Hi, Devonna. Yes, Jackie, you should. Busted canvas. Yes. That's kind of what this reminds me of, kind of, is that it's that busted canvas. Yeah, it gives it that 3D look. It just kind of adds a little something to it. So I just really, really like the way it looks, so just adding that. That's going to be a shadow, so I just want to get that. And then we're going to have a shadow under here too. So I'm going to get in between the hands. It's just kind of like, you know, cement. So we're just going to do a very watered down kind of a grayish color. And just add a little in there, and then just keep adding more water. Just kind of scrubbing it on there. It kind of dilutes it out a little more when you add a little more water. And a little bit of texture is okay because this is supposed to be concrete, so we can do a little scumbling without so much water, and just kind of picks up the texture of that paper. We can add a little more here and there just to kind of, so this, yes, we want to do a shadow here. So we're going to have it's like a cast shadow from the ice cream cone. So let me lighten this so that it makes the cast shadow more apparent. Yeah, I think it's relaxing too. And I always wonder, is it, of course, it's relaxing to me to be painting. But yes, I agree. I think it's relaxing to watch someone paint, to watch something appear, you know, you're watching it appear before your eyes, kind of. Or sometimes I look at it and I think, what, I don't know, where are they going with this? And I even think that of myself, is like, okay, I don't know, is this going to work out? But you just have to trust the process and keep going, because a lot of times, all of a sudden, it all comes together and makes sense. And usually it's the when you start putting on those final details, is when it really starts to come to life. You know, like the highlights, or just those little things that you don't think make that much of a difference, but then every little thing really adds up, and then it makes the biggest difference. So like layering, you know, when you add multiple layers of color, you know, every layer just adds more and more, you know, and it just really, it makes a big difference. So just trust the process and keep going. Going to add a little of a really pretty bright pink, kind of lighten up the very top, kind of makes it have a bit of a glow. Add a little bit of that our cherry up here too. So I am going to add a layer. I probably have to do a couple of layers, but I'm going to add my first layer down here, which is the cast shadow for the underneath. I will probably have to do a couple of layers to get this the right value. I want to get a little bit on this little area right here. It's the little shadow for the handle. Okay, so let's work on, let's see. Yeah, that's pretty dry. So let's go ahead and work on the ice cream. So I'm going to use this really pretty pink. So I'm going to drop in some, and now we're just going to use some clean water and work it around. I'm trying to save the little spots I have designated for highlights. Somewhere in, I believe it's South Texas somewhere, they have a strawberry festival. I used to live in Seguin, which is near San Antonio, and it was somewhere around there, there was a Poteet. That's what the name of the place was. Poteet Strawberry Festival. It's somewhere there around San Antonio. I never went to it, but I love strawberry, so I bet I bet they had some delicious strawberry items, everything. Everything you can imagine strawberry, I'm sure. So do any of y'all do like craft fairs or anything like that? Do you set up a booth and sell your crafts, or do you sell online or anything? Petite Strawberry Festival. Yeah. Yeah, my husband put that up there. Yeah, that would probably be, I've never been, but that would probably be really fun. I can imagine all the strawberry items. So I'm just kind of taking some water and softening the edges. I don't want any hard edges. And I'm going to add just a little bit of blue to that pink, make a little purple, and use that as a shadow, kind of underneath, to make it look like it's layer, you know, fluffy ice cream. Just soften those edges. Makes it have that nice blend. And then you can also lift, just get some clean water and a clean brush and just kind of rub at the paint, and it will lift some of it off if you want to lighten up an area. That looks like some pretty good strawberry ice cream to me. Oh, you have a strawberry festival in Florida? You used to do craft shows. You have a booth at an antique mall. So we have a place here in town that has just opened. Well, she's been opened at a previous location, at a different location, but she bought a new building, and so she has. I have a vendor spot there, and have got my art there. So we'll see. It's kind of an antique store, so I'm not real sure how it will go over. But you know, you never know. So I've got some stuff there. We'll see how it goes. So I'm just adding a little bit of gold to kind of get that a little bit of a bright, add some brightness to that. And now we'll work a little bit on this. I think I'll add a little gold to this as well. This is just a transparent gold. I'm going to add a little burnt umber to that also. A real pretty golden color. Not trying to be real specific, just kind of getting some random areas to make it look, you know, like a baked cone. It's not going to be perfect, so Just using a light touch to just kind of get in between those. Oh, Florida's big for strawberry. January and February is blueberry. Summer is okay. Yeah, love all those. Love all of those fruits. I just have a big fruit salad. Okay. Now I'm going to work on these hands, and I'm just going to do different colors. We're just going to have some different colored hands, and they don't have to be perfect because it is in, you know, when you put your hand inside the cement, it's not going to come out perfect, so we don't want it to be too perfect. And I'm even going to use a paper towel just to make it look a little less perfect. Maybe let's do a nice bright yellow. How fun would this be in an ice cream shop, but like a child's room or a nursery or something. That would be so pretty in there. Trying to make a prettier green. Let's see, let's do a turquoisey blue here. And maybe we'll do orange. And maybe let's do a lighter green maybe. Okay, I'm going to add another layer to the shadow down here. So I'm going to add a little bit of interest around here, which is the outside. Of this, so it'll be like the busted out frame type look. We'll do some pink, and maybe we'll do some blue. Just want to rinse that brush out real good and soften some of this and let it blend. And now I'm going to dab a little because I don't want it solid. And I'm going to add just a little bit of burnt umber. Just to kind of warm that up just a little bit. The same over here. Add a little bit of blue. Thank you, Jackie. Thanks so much for watching. And it looks like we can just do a few a little bit of detail work. We have about 10 minutes. Let's do a little bit around this whip topping, make it stand. Kind of help that stand out just a little. Add a little something to this. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Robin. I've been trying to go, and I was using lots of like free copyright free photos and all for my reference photos, but I've been trying to take my own and use more of just my own photos. So, because a lot of times if you enter contests, unless you have the, express permission, a lot of photographers will let artists use their photos, but this way there's like no, there will not ever be an issue because it is your own reference that you used. So it just kind of helps eliminate the possibility of there being any issues, with a copyright or anything. So I have been trying to do that. I want to just kind of eliminate a few of those. So I'm almost done. I do have one that I painted yesterday. So I do have a finished one. This one is almost done, but I will go ahead and show that one. Just adding some little bit of red, a brownish red to this to show the reflection of the red wagon. Yeah, I'm just kind of blending in some indigo. I just want to make that edge soft. And this is the finished that I did yesterday. So this one is almost just like it. But it does have that 3D look. And we can do, I have a few minutes. I'll do a few splatters. That's always a fun part. And I need to darken the shadow, that right there a little bit. And thank you, Robin. Thanks, Allison. And I believe there is one person left, and that is I'm sorry, I might have said the wrong one. I think Valerie's Pick It Up Crafts, or is it might have changed. If so, I apologize. If somebody can announce who will be on next. But just taking off the tape around there. And then we have a fun ice cream painting. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. I hope to see y'all again soon. And there's one more left. Thank you, Robin. There's one more person left, so y'all stay tuned for her. And I will see y'all next time. And this is also going to be on my YouTube channel, so you can go and watch the replay. And it'll also be on my Facebook page. So we will see y'all next time, everybody. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.